So, Super Tuesday Part 2 happened tonight, and the establishment is ready to don Biden, the major frontrunner, and they're ready to end the primaries. So, basically, Jim Clyburn had an interview with NPR, and he said that he is going to be working and talking to the DNC about shutting down the primaries because continuing is only going to hurt us, he said. Moving on with this is only going to end up hurting us come November. Um, Now, I want to be completely honest here. Uh, Sanders could have done better. Without a doubt, he could have done better tonight. But he still didn't do that bad. What I mean by that is at the current moment, and for me it's like midnight, um, Bernie is winning in Washington. He's down, and he lost, but he is down about 10% in Michigan. It's 10 to 12%. Outside of Mississippi, he did okay. And I mean that because of this, okay? So on average, he lost about 10% of the vote tonight, on average. And we don't know Washington yet. That could change it if you take out Mississippi. And I know, why would you take out Mississippi? They don't have a lot of delegates. So, you know, take that for what it is. But when you average all the numbers, Bernie lost by about 10%. That's not that big of a deal. And they're ready to say, oh, this was a big win for Biden. He got 10% more of the vote. How is that more? How is that like a big win? And something that, as they say, hey, we want to start shutting down the primaries and we want to be done with this. Um, they're not done counting California yet. It's actually something my wife brought up to me. I've been so jaded by the bullshit that they feed us that I hadn't looked. And yeah, sure enough, there's about 100 delegates left that could still go to Bernie. This could be far closer than what we realize right now. And already they're just saying, "Oh, let's get it over with. We need to shut it down. We need to walk away. It's over. Hey, Sanders had a great run. It's done." And I'll tell you why. Number one, they don't want Biden to debate. Biden on that stage against Bernie is going to be bad. It's going to be awful for Biden. And yeah, that happens on Sunday. And I guarantee you there is going to be a big push to end this and to say, look, it's not even possible for Bernie to win. But it completely is. It really is. They're doing the same thing to Bernie that they did to Warren, that they did to Tulsi before her, where they're taking the air out of everyone's bubble. And they're saying, nah, your candidate's done. They can't win. They can't win. And so people don't show up for him as much. And, your average voter, and most of my listeners are not, they don't fall in this category, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Your aunt, your uncle, you know, your maybe your spouse, your mom, whoever, the people coworkers, that they vote, but they don't pay attention to this stuff. They see the headline and they go with that. And oh, looks like Biden's winning huge. I better just vote for him. I don't want to throw away my vote. Even though it doesn't mean anything, people still hold their vote as something sacred, and they, you know, be on the winning team, especially if they're not super like married to a candidate. They'll just vote for the guy who's already winning. And that's what they're doing. And it's pretty sad. There are also, I should say this, that Biden continuing on this track, which is only a couple more weeks. I live in Kansas, and we primary on May 3rd. So, yeah, we're still like another month out almost from when we get to actually primary. But just today, and I want to go into this real quick, and I also want to go into hypocrisy, by the way. Just today, Joe Biden threatened to slap a voter in the face. He said, "Don't give me your bullshit. Don't make me slap you in the face," when he was questioned about his attack on assault rifles. And I think it was a fair attack, by the way. Again, I'm a Bernie Sanders progressive, so uh, but I believe in the Second Amendment. I really do. Um, and the guy had brought up a decent point. Why do you want to take away my assault rifle? Joe Biden compared an AR-15 to a machine gun. There's not a comparison really, okay? Like on paper, you want to break it down, you want to change the laws, whatever, but the voter was speaking to the law as it is right now, and as it is right now, it's on the voter's side. That's what's constitutional. You can't, whatever. But Biden goes off on this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, calls him bullshit, says he's going to slap him in the face. Where was the coverage on that? Yeah, we might have heard something here or there. This would be disqualifying for Trump. If Trump said this would be all over the place. And people would be like, oh my God, could you believe Trump was being violent and angry? Nothing. We don't hear that on Biden at all. In fact, the big talk is the coronavirus. And by the way, they're tying that into why they need to end the Democratic primary early. I mean, that's why they say they're not going to have people show up at the debate stage on Sunday. That's why they say, um, they need to stop doing rallies. All those things that are really kind of productive for Bernie, and they want to shut that down. And they say, "Oh, it's the coronavirus." Is the coronavirus something to worry about? Yes, it is. It's something to have concern for. I'll tell you this much: I've contacted my grandma, and I told her, "Look, if you need anything, just let me know, and I'll go get it for you." Like, that's where I'm at. But I put up in these images a graph that shows the mortality rate by your age. Now, I don't know how many of you fall in the same age group I do, which is 10 to 49. We have a 0.2% mortality rate if we're healthy, if we're the average person. A 0.2. The flu, 0.7. I'm not saying that we shouldn't worry about it. I'm not saying we shouldn't wash our hands. Yes, we definitely should. Um, Try to, minimize the spread of it. But do we do we say, hey, let's shut down our economy, hand the government, hand Joe Biden the Democratic primary, and just be done with it? And look, if they want to play that game, uh, here's what I say: fine, let's just stop right now. We'll pick it up here in a couple months. We'll continue primarying. We'll continue doing all that stuff. Hell, you know what? This is a situation like we've never seen before. So let's move voting to 2021. We'll do it January 1st. That's when we're going to vote. Um, but in that time, let's finish counting the delegates. Let's finish finding out where Bernie Sanders is in comparison to Biden. Because right now they act like he's up 20 some percent. But when you actually look into the delegates and what hasn't been counted and what hasn't been done yet, it's a lot closer than what they're making it look at. Even tonight, like you said, big win. Oh, big win. About 10%. About 10. In Michigan, 12%. Right? Bernie, if he beats Biden, which he's already winning in Washington, if he beats him by more than 6%, this was almost a wash. Because remember, in a Democratic primary, it's not the winner get take all kind of situation. They earn a allotted amount based on the votes that they get. And with that being said, Bernie has been so damn close that the delegates are not really figured out yet. And they're not, sorry, I misspoke. They aren't far enough apart that it's going to make that big of a difference when you add it all together. And I say this more so because if you're looking at I think the latest delegate count I saw was Biden at 711 and Bernie at 589. That seems like a lot, but Bernie still has a lot of delegates that haven't been added to him that are waiting there in California for him. It's things like that. When this is all said and done, I bet you Bernie's probably closer to, I would give him like maybe 660 to 711, 720. That's not as crazy as what is, as they're painting it out. Biden is not the clear winner. He's not the front runner. I mean, not the clear-cut front runner. It's not time to end it and shut it down. But that's what they're trying to do, and I guarantee you, it's because when King Biden opens his mouth, the shit that comes out is gonna catch up with him, and by that mark, people are not gonna vote for him. They're gonna see his mental deterioration on stage, and they're gonna be spooked out by that. And because just moving forward with that real quick, let's say Biden wins. Let's play their game, which we're going to end up having to anyway, and Biden's going to end up winning the whole damn thing. Let's move into November, and let's say for poops and giggles, we shut it down now, and it's over. We put the crown on his head. We let him carry the mantle of Democrat nominee, and we don't really have him debate Bernie. We don't have him do any of this stuff. So then he gets ready and he goes into Trump. What's going to happen? What happens when your friend says, "Hey, I want to run a marathon," and you're like, "Hey, you going to train?" And they're like, "No." What happens? You watch him because you want to see him fall on his ass when he has a leg cramp that takes him out. Biden's going into this without any preparation. That's what'll happen. And look, every time Bernie or Bernie supporters say anything about Biden, you're just hurting the party. You're a Russian asset. Heard that. I've heard that. Yeah, you're a Republican asset. You're just trying. So Biden, even though he's target rich, his skin is so thin that he's gonna be just evaporated by Trump. And the one thing too that the Democrats do not want to focus on, voter turnout for the Republicans, especially re-electing a president, all-time high. The right wing, the Republicans, they are not fucking around. And you take, say 20%. And I think that's a low amount, honestly. For when we're discovering things and we hear Jim Clyburn speak, let's just say 20% of Sanders supporters who are like, I'm not even voting. Or if I do, I'm voting for Trump. To just give you the middle finger. And again, I think that's low, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if that number is more like 60% of Bernie supporters vote for Trump. I've heard a number of Warren supporters say they're not going to vote for Biden. So let's just start taking all these votes away. Biden speaking more, which has not been good for him, up against one of the greatest counterpunchers we've ever seen. Like him or not, I do not, but Trump is an amazing counterpuncher against a guy who threatens to slap his own voters and has gaffes every 2 minutes. It's over. Just give it to Trump. That's what they want. And they wonder why the Democratic Party is bleeding voters. I mean, I've been a lifelong Democrat, and I don't call myself a Democrat anymore. I haven't for a while, about a year. I've been an independent or a progressive. If you want to put me on that list, I'm an independent. Because I don't even know what they stand for anymore. And to make matters worse about Biden, he his cabinet picks came out, and granted, he said that they're not real, that this was fake. But yeah, I don't buy it, considering a lot of them were Obama, era people. People like Jamie Dimon to be Secretary of or Treasury Secretary. Mike Bloomberg to be the head of the World Bank. Yeah. So it's back to Wall Street. It's back to Obama, Biden, corporatist elitism. Is that what we want? That's what they're giving us. Anyway, I'm curious what you guys think about it. The whole Clyburn story and the DNC saying that they are going to shut down or I shouldn't say, I don't want to speak out of turn. Clyburn saying that he's going to talk to the DNC about shutting down the primary. That just broke like an hour ago. So we haven't heard the DNC actually comment on it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those There's situations where they say something and they want to hear public reaction. And if public reaction is pretty good and there's not much pushback, then they're like, okay, let's do it. I really wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. But anyway, I'm curious your thoughts about that on Big Tuesday, I guess is what they call this. I don't know. Super Tuesday Part 2. Um, about the delegates in California, all that stuff. I'm also curious if anyone who comments, please tell me who you vote for, who you support, who you're pushing for. Um, I put out a poll for my Spotify listeners and found out that I have a lot of libertarian like socialists that listen to me. So I'm really curious on YouTube what you guys like how you tend to vote. Anyway, I appreciate your time. You guys have a great evening.